What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to TDPHINSTALK, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. Once again, thank you for waking up with TD in the morning. Hit that like button on your way in the room. Topic this morning, topic that a lot of people don't want to talk about, but it's we're going to talk about hot seat. We're going to talk about hot seat, what it means, who's on it, who's safe. Why do we want to talk about this? Because it needs to be discussed. Shout out to Justice being the first one in the building. Big E Cooking Channel, what's going on? King Bat, I see you. Mod Squad in the building. Rich V. Vic in the house. Shout out to all the members. Sway2387. That's what's up, man. Y'all hit that like button on your way in. We're talking about the hot seat this morning. Who should be on the hot seat? Who should be on the hot seat? I want to get y'all take first. Put it in the comment section. Who should be on the hot seat? Hot seat doesn't just have to be someone in the front office. It could also be a player. Anybody in an organization is eligible for the hot seat. Anybody. All right. Justice said absolutely Greer. We'll touch on him. Ronnie said, "What's for breakfast, folks? I'm in carpool right now. About to drop my son off of school. He got some pancake minis and some sausage and some OJ orange juice. Um, so that's his breakfast.
Daddy,
Yes, sir.
can I have some
Your orange juice. Did you finish your food? All right, here you go. Fire. All right, man. Preston Williams, Greer, Tua. Flores because of the OC sit down. Mm. Interesting. Albert Wilson, Noah, offensive coordinator. Mm. Very interesting. Who's on the hot seat? I want to start out with the players. But first off, I want to define hot seat. Hot seat is an individual who is in a situation where their job is on the line depending on how they perform right now. The hot seat is someone whose job is on the line depending on how they perform right now. And right now, not meaning this immediate moment, not meaning this week, but this season. And could be shorter than the full season if the performance is bad enough. So who's on the hot seat? First and foremost, there are two players that were expendable to the Dolphins to begin with that we thought would either be traded or cut that weren't, and that's Jakeem Grant and Albert Wilson. They haven't been productive whatsoever for us. They haven't been an impact whatsoever for us. And it honestly shows that we have an abundance of riches at the wide receiver position. And it's almost to a fault of these guys aren't even being utilized. They're being so underutilized. Those are the first two guys that I will put on the hot seat. First two guys I will put on the hot seat. They made some mistakes. Albert Wilson doesn't even look the same. He don't even look like that first week in camp. And I warned y'all of that. I warned y'all that Albert Wilson wasn't looking like he did that first week of camp and that Waddle should be the starter. And Waddle was the starter, but I warned everybody of that, and they thought that depth chart was going to have Albert Wilson first. I thought it was going to have Albert Wilson first because I thought they were going to put Waddle in the backseat. And I'm glad they didn't. But those two guys, we haven't needed them, y'all. I just got to be honest with y'all. They have been very useless. Jakeem Grant not even providing a spark in special teams, running backwards when it's time to return it. Just two guys that aren't getting it done for us. Showing no value at this point. Who else is on the hot seat? And I'm trying to stick with the offense to begin with. Y'all going to be shocked on some of them. Who else is on the hot seat? Whether y'all want to believe it or not, Mike Gesicki on the hot seat. He can get his 10 catches for 88 yards or whatever it may have you, but at the same token, I'm telling y'all now, he's on a contract year. The man rounds out every route that he runs. Still not a great blocker. And at the end of the day, all he serves us is to be a fourth best receiver on this team playing the tight end position. I know that we get some production from him and, he makes some big plays here and there. But I'm telling y'all now, man, he's on the hot seat because he's going to demand a certain amount of money that he's just not worth. And yeah, I will say that he will demand a certain amount of money that he's not worth because other people in the team covet him because he's been one of the best things that we had. Because he's been one of the best things that we've had, which is sad. I mean, that is sad, y'all. Mike Gesicki's been one of the best things that we had, one of the only names. He's on the hot seat. Take your seatbelt off, okay? Not only is Mike Gesicki on the hot seat, but I got to tell y'all now, Austin Jackson is on the hot seat. 2 years in, if he doesn't perform well this year, he could be moved on from next year. After 2 years, the Miami Dolphins could potentially move on from Austin Jackson. He just hasn't played well. Mm-hmm. He just hasn't played well. He's struggling. Now, he's still young, and I'm sure week by week they see incremental improvements, but I don't think those improvements have been large enough. And it's still early. It's still early. We want to see what he looks like by the end of the season, but he's garnered too much attention on himself early this season to where he's placed himself on the hot seat. Liam Eichenberg came in when he got a little dinged up. Or did he get dinged up? Was it COVID protocol or something like that? Liam Eichenberg came in and basically looked better than him in that one game. Definitely on the hot seat. Put your mask on, okay? And then Solomon Kinley, hot seat. Same situation. I don't think he's garnered the same amount of attention as Austin Jackson, but the inconsistent play could be replaced at any time. The inconsistent play could be replaced. Hot seat, Robert Hunt. They need to kick that man right back out to tackle and call it a day. But they're not doing that. And you know what? I'm going to take Hunt off the hot seat because at least he does have some value at tackle. Just don't understand why they're not putting him out there. No clue. And then you got Jones coming off the bench, who every time he gets in the game, he's playing great football, but he's not starting on the O-line. I have no clue either. Why? Robert Jones sitting there getting no shake, but every time he comes in the game, he produces and plays well in his small sample size. Actually, the highest rated offensive lineman on our team via PFF, but no play time. Jesse Davis, he ain't on the hot seat. He in hell. He on the hell seat. It's worse than hot. It's worse than hot. He got more experience than all these guys that out there looking like a bum. Now they kicked him inside, and he didn't do as bad, but still. It's still. Bye, Carter. Love you. You too. Thank you. Just dropped the kiddo off. But yeah, man. He's on the hot seat. I mean, he's done to me. Davis, it just doesn't make any sense. They need to figure out that O-line altogether. And lastly on the O-line, The number one player that I think is on the, I mean, not the old line, but the offense, a player that's also on the hot seat, just got to be honest with y'all, Preston Williams. Hot seat, boiling hot, sizzling, hot grits. Preston Williams is on the hot seat. Undrafted player, want to turn him into something. We did a good job doing that, but his injuries, and then now he's just not helping us because your best ability is your availability. And on top of that, when he is on the field, he's looking to half step slower right now. And if he gets a little bit more playing time, a little more shake, and shows us some production, that can change. But right now, it's tough sledding, man. It's tough sledding. And before I switch to the defense, y'all, I was thinking this they taught us a lesson this year from preseason. See, I go to preseason, I see all these little touchdowns thrown. I remember having conversations with EM yesterday every day, saying, I'm impressed with what I see, but at the same token, the defense making it easy for the offense. They playing all this crappy zone. I mean, like they played 90% of the plays in practice were zone. And I'm like, I can't really get a good gauge of the offense, even though they're performing well. This is not indicative of what's going to happen in the regular season primarily. And it was just frustrating, man. Make practice tough so we could really see what we got. But they didn't want to do that. They wanted to give a good showing for the crowd to see Tua in preseason and everybody else. So it energized the fan base, man. On to the defense. First and foremost, Noah Monogamy. He's so young. You don't want to put him on a hot seat, but the kid on the hot seat, man. The kid is on the hot seat. Just doesn't make any sense. He got to be coming in games making a bigger impact than what he's done so far. You see Brandon Jones. You see Javon Holland. I mean, immediate impacts, man. And this guy, man, just not impact, like not giving anything to this team. Noah Monogamy is on the hot seat. Young player. I can see him doing one more year, but I don't know. I think they move on. But we'll see. Time will tell. Time will tell. Who else is on the hot seat? No, I'm going to say that for last. Defense. Who else is on the hot seat? Christian Wilkins is on the hot seat, y'all. I know y'all don't want to hear that. He had a good game last game. Well, technically the first really good game, even though he's double teamed a lot. I make a lot of excuses for Christian Wilkins. But he's not that. He's not a generational talent. Nobody ever claimed that he would be, but he's not. He's a good talent. I just feel like he's going to be a part of some major trade. And he's coming up on a contract situation eventually after this year, where he'll be at a pivotal point to where they can offer him a long-term deal or move on and keep him for one more year. But we're so loaded at the position, to be quite honest, Raekwon Davis is the future of that middle. Raekwon Davis is honestly the future of the middle. Some of y'all may have not realized this, but during camp, Raekwon Davis was starting and Christian Wilkins was second string. Just being honest. Just being honest. You know, it's a high draft pick and we want to be excited about it. He plays good football. But we need, at where we drafted him and the money that, he's going to want, we need more of an impact than what we're getting. Somebody said locker room guy. I don't care nothing about that locker room. I don't care nothing about that locker room. A locker room guy ain't good for nothing but holding the locker room together when we losing, and we need to stop losing. So I don't care nothing about no locker room guy. Nothing. Fix all that. Stop losing. You wouldn't need that. You wouldn't need it. But Christian Wilkins on the hot seat, man. It's warm. It ain't hot. It's warm, but that still qualifies. Something to keep your eye on for the rest of the year. Believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, every edge rusher we have is playing great football. That's something I got to tell y'all. Y'all may not see it with your raw eyes, but on film, every edge rusher we got is playing great football. I know, well, we need more sacks. Listen, every edge rusher we got is playing great football. I promise y'all. I see it on the tape, all the pressures that they create. And I also see it in the PFF grading. Every edge rusher we got is playing good football. Facts. Even Phillips. That's right. Yep. Even Phillips. They really are. When I say edge rushers, I also mean the flex linebacker on the opposite side of Ogbah. Van Ginkel, Phillips, Zeiler. I mean, all those guys. Defense. Who else is on the hot seat? Man, why is Coleman playing on the field? Got me thinking about it now. Forget a hot seat. Why is this man even on the field? Throw him in the freezer. He shouldn't even be eligible for the hot seat. Throw that man in the freezer. And let me tell you what's more insulting about it. Coleman only played 25% of the snaps on Sunday. He only played 25% of the snaps. But that shows you, every time Derek Carr seen that man on the field, he said, yep, that's where I'm going. Why is this man even on the field? He shouldn't even be in the hot seat. He should be in the freezer. Don't even throw him out. Hey. Chill out, TD. Anyway, let's keep it moving, man. I ain't even talking about that guy. Hot seat. Jerome Baker. Why you gave that man that money? In the discussion. I'm not talking about him no more. Make me mad. I ain't even talking about that bum no more. Next person. Hot seat. Unfortunately, Sam McGuavin is on the hot seat. He's a one-trick pony. Only thing he's been good at is stopping the run. The man can't cover in the secondary to save his life when he has to. He can't play great football in the secondary to save his life if he had to. All he can do is run stop. And I get we need that, but still, that's why teams take advantage of certain players. It's matchups, ladies and gentlemen. Smart quarterbacks see who's on the field for the defense, and they audible out of certain plays. If it's a run play and Sam McGuavin on the field, and he matched up with his inside receiver or tight end, the quarterback audibles and takes advantage of that. The game is all about matchups. The game is about matchups. He can't guard in the secondary. Any pass plays, he just can't guard. And it's actually a liability. It really is. Last person that's on the hot seat. And it's not because of their play. And y'all gonna be mad at me about this, but I want y'all to hear me out. The last person on the defense that's on the hot seat, and it's not just because it's not really primarily their play. Because their play is good, even though they are having a few plays where they're getting cooked. And we don't talk about it. But Xavier Howard is on the hot seat. Reason why he's on the hot seat is because they've told him they would take his contract situation serious next year and reevaluate it. And talk about a long-term deal. and take it serious. What that means is they don't have to give him a deal. They'll either take it serious if they want him and pay him big bucks for a long-term extension, or they'll just move on and trade Xavier Howard. Um, the reason why we got to come to terms with that is because, ladies and gentlemen, he's still going to make some turnovers this year. He's still going to make some plays, but he's not going to have the year he had last year. If he does, great. But if listen, you can't gamble on that to keep happening and then enter a brand new contract with a guy who's coming up to his 30s soon. And like I've been telling y'all for years, he gets beat too. He gets beat. If you play against a great quarterback and you play against a great receiver, Xavier Howard, the beauty about him, he forces you to be perfect. But if a quarterback makes the pass right and the wide receiver runs the right route, he's going to get beat 75% of the time, y'all. And people don't understand that. But luckily, even the great quarterbacks don't always throw perfect balls. And even the great receivers don't always run perfect routes. And he takes advantage of those opportunities. He's an opportunist. And he makes team pay with that. So I agree, every corner does get beat. But to be coming up to your 30 soon and wanting a fresh, brand new deal that isn't a year by year or a 2-year deal, this is your last real payout, and he'll get it somewhere. He's going to want a 4 to 5 year deal that's probably on average about $20 million a year. Y'all, you just can't do it. You got to move on. And honestly, that's exactly why you got to bring in your future quarterback. Because this defense ain't going to be great forever anyway. You just need him to be good. You just need him to be good. And let me tell you something. If y'all don't notice right now, we are shifting to a pass rush team. We're not there yet, but we're getting there. I can see them in the offseason bringing in one more pass rusher, and that guy is going to be legit. To top off this D line, that front, and it's going to be a scary front at that point. They're not done yet. Somebody said, heck no, X is smoking. Why? Because he won us the first game with that fumble? I mean, what are we talking about here? Some major plays versus the Raiders where he got cooked. Just be honest about it. Some major plays where he got cooked, man. And it happens to the best of them, but still. I know y'all don't like to hear that, but he's on the hot seat, y'all. Because of his contract situation this offseason. He's not going another year with incentives. And then the sad part about it, I don't even think he'll reach his incentives this year, which means the Dolphins win that situation anyway. They're going to win that situation anyway with the contract dispute because I don't think he'll hit all his incentives. He'll hit some of them. Somebody said, Pete said X is a Texan. And that's what I'm trying to get people to realize too, Pete. You might be right. This is the type of stuff that might happen, y'all. You might have 3 first-round picks, Christian Wilkins, Xavier Howard, and a few more small assets, and the Watson trade is done. I can see it happening. I can see it happening just like that. Three first rounders, a Christian Wilkins, Xavier Howard, fifth and sixth round or something like that, and the deal gets done. We can't hear you. Can y'all hear me? Yes or no? Let you know in the comment section. Well, obviously you won't be able to put no if you can't hear me. So yes in the comment section. Yes now. Okay, cool. Uh, let's move along, all right? Hot seat. We the coaches. Coaches hot seat. That I will not accept. I will not accept demoting one of them and so go live at the crib. Hold on. Uh, just, y'all give me a second. All right, I should be good now. Can y'all hear me? I should be good now. Can you hear me? All right, cool. Yeah, what happened was when I walked in the house, it automatically hooked to the Wi-Fi. But that transition, I guess, messed me up. So I should be good now. All right, man. So the coaches, the co-offensive coordinator thing just ain't working. And I'm gonna tell y'all now, if they continue going forward with Tua, they need to bring in a veteran offensive coordinator. Um, I don't think they continue moving forward with Tua. And I think whoever the coordinators are would be fine if you got a Deshaun Watson because he's gonna be creating the offense with them. Um, yeah, they're on a hot seat though, regardless. And the only thing that works in their favor is they had so many coordinators. And this goes back from Fitz and Josh Rosen before Tua even came. That OC wasn't working. Then Tua came. That OC wasn't working. Mid-year or something like that, they fired one. The next one wasn't working. Now the new dual OCs. And I'm not going to say they're doing a bad job being first-time OCs, but they're not doing the greatest job. I think we give them a little bit more flack than we should because again, the plays they're calling, they're still open people that the quarterbacks aren't hitting, and that goes for both quarterbacks. So if those guys were doing their job, then it wouldn't be that way as much. You know, and on the side note, real quick, if you watched that Cowboys game last night, how did that O line look to y'all? I'm just curious. If you watched the Cowboys game last night, how did the offensive line look for y'all with look for the Cowboys? Look to y'all. How did that O line look last night for the Cowboys? I'm I'm interested to see what y'all thought about that O line. Y'all see, let me tell y'all something. This is what's funny. That O line struggled all night, but y'all giving them tens, sevens, 10 out of 10s. The O line looked good. That O line struggled all freaking night. Y'all say amazing, okay, 8. Their O line has major issues and they struggle all night. Do you know why you don't notice that? Do you know why you didn't notice how much they struggled last night? How much Dak went back to pass and escape pressure. Dak Prescott made y'all not even think about how bad that O line struggled last night. Some of y'all don't even still don't. Some of y'all probably deep down inside, what are you talking about? That O line was great last night. No, you see 40 some points and think that O line was great. That O line struggled last night. Jay said, I saw it. I don't know about y'all. If y'all didn't recognize that O line last night, it proves my point. And you know what else Dak was doing last night? Calling his protections, audibles, his hots, his reads, getting in and out of the right plays, making great decisions. 3rd and 1, he didn't let the coach make the decision. He went ahead and chose his play. But y'all ain't gonna notice that. You should go back and watch that game. Watch how that O line struggled. Watch how they got Dak hit in the end zone. It was worse than our safety. At least we only gave up 2 points. They made Dak fumble in the end zone, and they got on top of it for a touchdown. What's up, Steven? I see you. So, man, anyway, back to the hot seat. Another guy who's on the hot seat, the defensive coordinator. The defensive coordinator is on a hot seat. What a lot of people don't want to realize is we give up way more yards than we should be. We should be having a lot of 3 and outs, and we don't. We let people go all the way down the field, and we rely on trying our very best to make them turn the ball over. Everybody like, oh, this top defense. Our defense is actually struggling right now, and we haven't really even noticed that. Because once again, we're trying to live off of turnovers. The defensive coordinator is not getting the job done with the personnel that we have. We don't force nobody to punt right away, which is better than a turnover because the problem with letting them march all the way down the field and turning it over is the defense is getting tired. They're getting worn. Defensive coordinator is on the hot seat, but lucky for them, they get to live off of the fact that people revere our defense as a good defense. And it is, but it still got work. And I don't want to hear this bend but don't break. I don't want to, I got to be honest with y'all. Bend but don't break is a cop out. Bend but don't break is a cop out. What happened to wanting to have an elite defense where they just smother you all game? They don't even want to give you a single first down. Defensive coordinator on the hot seat. Next up, everybody wants Brian Flores to be on the hot seat. Everybody wants Brian Flores to be on the hot seat. Truth is, he's not on the hot seat. Just gotta call it how it is. I know y'all don't. I know y'all don't want to hear this, but Flores ain't on no hot seat. It's been well documented that Brian Flores wanted Herbert, didn't get him. Owner and Greer said to him. It's number one. Number two, Flores is a defensive guy. See, we can give Andy Reid credit for the Chiefs' offense, but we don't want to give them any blame for their defense getting smoked by Brady and then whoever they play. We don't want to give we don't want to give him any blame for the defense because he's an offensive guy. And that's how the league has been formulated. It's hard to find a good offensive and defensive coach. So Flores is a defensive guy. Even though we're not playing our best on defense, it's still what we've been holding our hat on to. Just like Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick don't call nothing to do with the offense. He let his offensive coordinator do that, but he's lucky to have good ones typically. Flores just needs to do a better job identifying what a great offensive coordinator is. And it's real easy. Just go get a veteran who's proven. Pay a veteran coach who's proven to run your offense. I never expected Flores to have a great offense. I expected him to find somebody to create one because he's a defensive guy. So it's hard for me to put him on the hot seat for that. But another thing, as far as player personnel that we brought in, yes, it's all collaborative, and Flores has a say. But at the same token, it still falls on Greer. I wish Flores, I wish Flores would handle in-game situations better, or get on those coaches better. Really scare the living crap out of them. But I will say this: this is why I give him a little bit of slack. He hasn't shied away from firing somebody if he's needed to. Don't forget 2 years ago with Rosen and Ryan Fitzpatrick, things weren't getting done. He fired somebody like during the quarter season. So my thing is, if you're struggling in areas, as long as the head coach is firing people, that tells me they're identifying we need to be better, and we're gonna wait until we bring somebody in that is better. I have no problem with the coach selecting an offensive coordinator. They suck, firing them as soon as possible. Selecting another one, they suck, firing them as soon as possible because that means at least they're trying to find the one. And another thing, everybody's like, why wouldn't he just go get this person, that person? A lot of these people y'all talking about does not want to leave their situation for Miami, especially when they don't have a franchise quarterback. Have you ever thought about that? Go get this person, go get that person. Who said they're going to leave their situation? Why would Bieniemy lead the Chiefs when he got an opportunity to win a Super Bowl? For Tua, the OCs don't want to do nothing like that. Every decision they make is for their future. They all trying to get their head coaching spot. So why would they go into a situation where the OC position gonna make them look bad? I want y'all to think about that. You think the Miami Dolphins haven't reached out and attempted to hire a veteran OC to begin with? Yeah, they did. But why would a veteran OC who's looking to come and perform well on a team for 3 years so they can get a head coaching job want to come coach Tua? Think about that. Because if they come and Tua get them fired or they fail together, Now they done set themselves back 5 years from becoming a head coach. So all that wishful thinking, nobody wants to come here and put their future on behind Tua. It's just the truth, whether y'all don't want to hear it or not. It is the truth. Would you, if this is your opportunity to become a head coach, would you say, let me go to Miami, show how great Tua is, and then I'm gonna get promoted as a head coach somewhere? Would you have faith that Tua can help you show that? And don't give me this, well, if you're a great coach, you're a great coach. Nah, quarterbacks get great coaches fired every year. Quarterbacks get great coaches fired every year, man. It's a risk that you definitely don't want to take. So yeah, I don't see Flores on the hot seat like some of y'all. Some definitely improvements that need to be made. Chris Greer, on the other hand, he's definitely on the hot seat. He's continuously made some really bad decisions in the draft. Noah Monogamy, Austin Jackson, potentially Tua Tagovailoa. We've had all these assets, and what have they really amounted to? Chris Greer's on the hot seat, but that's why he needs to do something now, like bring in Deshaun Watson, pull a Houston, trade the farm for him. You just have to, man, and let Deshaun Watson's great play pull you out of this hole. And when we get in them W's, life will be good in Miami again. Nobody will be criticizing this and criticizing that. It's just how it works. It's the name of the game. But until that happens, I don't see how Chris Greer isn't on the hot seat. Just all bad draft decisions, especially when we drafted, luxuries instead of needs. Anywho, I'm coming up on the 8 o'clock hour, ladies and gentlemen. Thank y'all so much for waking up with TD in the morning. This is TD Fans Talk, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. Check out Miami Sports Music next. They are live. So make sure that you go check them out. You got Certified with Stephen D. What would Shula do with Wado? Yours truly, TD Fans Talk. Dudley Do Wrong. And Talking About Them Dolphins with Jamie B. So y'all make sure y'all go check out the MSM family. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Clock Blockers is next with Stephen D. See y'all over there. Peace.